The night cycle aboard the drifting frontier station was unusually quiet. When the challenge began, human crew members were gathered in the recreation hall, surrounded by metal walls etched with age and the hum of distant machinery. Among them stood a young technician named Rowan. Known for making bold claims when bored, he never expected one of those claims to shape the fate of two species. Started because he lost a card match to his team, the others teased him relentlessly, pushing for a dare that would be both harmless. An amusing someone joked that he should ask out a vampire from the visiting delegation. Expecting him to refuse immediately, yet Rowan faced the laughing group with a calm grin. He raised his drink and announced he would do it without hesitation. The crew went silent, then erupted with cheers and disbelief. The vampires were not mythical beings, but a long-lived alien species known for their pale skin, luminous eyes, and reliance on life energy extracts from willing donors. They looked close enough to the human legends that the nicknames spread across the station. One of them was a warrior diplomat named Lyra. Known for her quiet presence and unnerving grace, she was taller than Rowan, with silver hair and eyes that shifted between shades of crimson depending on emotion. Her species rarely socialized with humans. Beyond formal duties, Rowan approached her quarters with a steady stride. Though his heart pounded hard, Lyra opened the door with a skeptical stare, her voice low and cool as she asked why a human technician stood outside her room. Rowan took a breath and simply invited her on a date. The offer hung in the air like a stray spark in a volatile chamber. Most expected her to laugh or dismiss him. Instead, she regarded him with fascination. After several long seconds, she replied that she accepted the entire station, discovered the outcome within minutes. And the shockwave of gossip spread faster than any emergency alert ever had. The date took place in a neutral habitat garden. Illuminated by soft artificial suns, Lyra walked with a graceful silence, curious about the human who showed no fear. Rowan talked about his work, the long hours repairing the station's aging systems, and his dream of exploring unknown regions. Lyra spoke of her duty, the long centuries her people lived through, and how rare it was for any outsider to approach them directly without trembling knees. Their conversations flowed easily. Surprising both of them, Rowan found her direct honesty refreshing. Lyra found his warmth and humor disarming. For the first time in many cycles, she felt the strange flutter of anticipation. The date ended with a quiet moment on a metal bench overlooking the star field. Rowan made a joke about the crew not believing him. Lyra asked him if he pursued the date because of the dare. He hesitated, then admitted it began that way, but now his interest was genuine. Her eyes brightened to a deeper shade of crimson, not of anger, but something gentler. Their second meeting happened the next day. Then a third. They explored quiet corridors, abandoned maintenance walkways, and observation decks humming with cosmic storms. Rowan did not care about her fearsome reputation, and Lyra did not treat him as a fragile mortal. They were two beings curious about each other, forming an unlikely connection amid stars far from any home. Yet Lyra struggled with one truth: her species paired for life. A bond with her would last far longer than Rowan's natural span to her. Such a bond meant eternal loyalty. To him, it meant committing to something beyond human imagination. As days turned into weeks, the station vibrated with rumors. Some crew admired Rowan's bravery. Others called him foolish. The vampires watched the growing relationship with silent interest. Noting the change in Lyra's demeanor, she stood taller, spoke more often, and carried a new spark within her usually cold voice. Her kin recognized the signs of attachment long before. Rowan did. One night, Lyra summoned Rowan to a restricted part of the station. She said she needed to speak with absolute honesty. They walked through a dim hall illuminated only by the glow of distant reactors. She stopped in front of him and explained the truth of her species bond. It required a willing partner to share life essence, allowing both to exist beyond natural limits. It was not a curse, but a merging of existence. It could only be done once. There was no reversal. Rowan listened without flinching. He asked if she wanted this. She answered that she did. Her voice was steady, yet heavy with vulnerability. She feared he would run after hearing what humans might consider an impossible commitment. Rowan stepped closer and placed a hand gently over hers. He told her he was not afraid. He said his reason for approaching her had changed from a dare to something meaningful. He wanted to choose this path because of who she was, not what she was. Lyra's eyes glowed warmly, and her breath trembled. She explained the ritual, a gentle bite, not one of hunger, but of bonding, a transfer of energy linked through intention and consent. Rowan agreed without looking away from her. Ritual happened in the quiet of a sealed chamber. Lyra bit carefully at his shoulder, her teeth precise but gentle. He felt warmth surge through him, like fire and wind intertwining. She tasted his life essence. Not draining, but sharing her own energy flowed back into him. It was not painful. It was overwhelming, ancient, and strangely beautiful. When she finished, she stepped back, her eyes bright as dawn. Rowan felt lighter, stronger, yet unchanged at his core. They were bonded partners not by accident, but by choice. Moment altered the entire station. The humans were stunned. The vampires were fascinated diplomats from multiple worlds requested private meetings to understand the significance of the union. The bond represented a bridge between species long considered incompatible. Rowan stayed by Lyra's side as she navigated the diplomatic upheaval, though he never sought attention. Many leaders now asked for his perspective because he embodied the possibility of trust between their peoples. He answered with calm simplicity, stating that understanding began with small choices, often starting with curiosity and followed by courage. Lyra took pride in her partner's sincerity. Her people respected him for accepting a connection that most beings feared. They began referring to him as a living example of human boldness. Some called it recklessness. Others called it bravery. But to Lyra, it meant commitment born from genuine emotion. Their bond strengthened with each cycle. When pirates attacked the station, Lyra fought with fierce precision, while Rowan coordinated emergency repairs to keep shields active. The two moved as if sharing one instinct. Witnesses claimed their synchronization was impossible without the bond they carried. In time, the station became a central hub where humans and vampires interacted more openly. Shared research labs opened, trading routes grew, and mixed crews began forming across new vessels. The bond between Rowan and Lyra was often considered the quiet catalyst of a new era, yet their personal life remained simple. They preferred quiet moments watching starfields shift beyond transparent walls. Lyra enjoyed describing cosmic regions she had witnessed centuries before. Rowan loved listening to her stories and sharing his own dreams of exploring unknown sectors. Their partnership was not defined by duty alone, but by a deep companionship neither had expected. When they first met, Rowan noticed subtle changes in his own body, not immortality, but a slowing of aging sharpened senses, a deeper awareness of emotions. Lyra explained that the bond allowed energy harmony between them. He would live far longer than any human, not by losing his humanity, but by sharing a life linked with hers. He accepted every change without regret. There were challenges. Some humans feared the growing alliance, claiming vampires sought to control them. Some vampires doubted the durability of emotions from a species that lived far shorter lives. Rowan and Lyra faced the doubts together. They proved their bond through actions, patience, and integrity. A hostile alien faction attempted to sabotage the peace treaty. Rowan volunteered to negotiate face to face. His calm presence disarmed the hostile group's assumptions. He explained that unity brought strength, that humans were not weak, and that cooperation did not erase identity. Lyra stood beside him as silent assurance, her presence shifting the tone of the negotiation. The treaty eventually held firm. Years passed on the station. Rowan and Lyra became known throughout several systems, not for power or fear, but for demonstrating trust between two very different species. Many young diplomats studied their history. Many mixed crews carried their story as inspiration. Their bond turned into a symbol of hope during uncertain eras yet. The two never cared for grand titles. They valued ordinary moments far more. Shared meals, maintenance walks through quiet corridors, stargazing sessions, and playful debates about human and vampire customs. Even as cycles stretched onward, Lyra still asked if Rowan regretted the choice. He always answered with a warm smile and told her he had chosen long before he fully understood what it meant, and he would choose it again every time. She always responded by resting her head gently on his shoulder. One day the station prepared for a massive gathering celebrating a decade of stable relations between humans and vampires. Rowan and Lyra were asked to stand at the center of the hall, representing the start of the alliance. The hall lights dimmed, and a projection covered the dome with stars from every known system. A narrator spoke of the improbable meeting between a technician driven by a dare and a warrior diplomat bound by ancient laws. The audience listened with fascination. Rowan leaned toward Lyra and whispered that he never imagined a simple wager would lead to all of this. Lyra replied,